In this demo, I'm going to do a quick overview of the workspace. So this is my apps page where there are several applications for the workspace. These ones are mock data. They represent enterprise applications. So for instance, you can click on Equity Research Workbench and you'll have multiple tabs and multiple underlying widgets. All of this is configurable. You can look into the underlying data. You can also create a new dashboard and add those widgets manually. So I could look for let's say equity, and then let's just look for equity. You'll see that there's a lot of data here. All of these are like different widgets with different data. Let's say that I want to look for equity research, and I have here a few, so I can say, let's say that I want to add these 5. All of those represent some sort of data, and then for instance these ones I can group them together in this case because they have the same parameter, which allows me to update it and both update at the same time, and it's very configurable. So I could add a navigation bar, add a new tab, and then say tab 2 or something like that, and then I can maybe, let's say that I want to move this one to the other tab, copy to tab 2, and I can remove it from here. And now if I go to that tab, it's there. So it's very configurable. But let's say that you have a specific portfolio. And so for an example, I have my portfolio, different portfolio holdings, data from FactSet that I'm accessing via Snowflake. I'm going to open that page. You can see here the underlying SQL query that is being used. And basically when you run, is doing that run against Snowflake. And you can see that I can hide the state. And now I have my portfolio 1, portfolio 2, and portfolio 3. Let's say that I open OpenBB Copilot right now, and I say create a 3 pie chart based on portfolio holdings by industry. And if you want, you can actually tag this specific widget, so the agent knows that you are asking it to use the data that is available here. Okay, and as you can see here, we have the composition of different pie charts based on the portfolio holdings that we are looking at. All of this can be added back onto the dashboard, so I can click here and I can add this individual widget to the dashboard. I could also directly update the query, so I could say filter portfolio ID to portfolio 1. And so the query should update. It's actually quite fast. It updated, and now you can see just the portfolio 1, which is great. Now let's say that I'm interested. As you know, there's the apps marketplace, which means that there's a ton of data that can be made available within the OpenBB Workspace. And we also have the OpenBB Docs MCP, which comes as default, that has access to the apps in the marketplace. So let's say that I wanted to ask, let's focus on portfolio 1 based on the industry. What data from OpenBB Marketplace could be relevant to analyze? You can also go into full shot mode if we are interested. Okay, there's a lot here. For instance, drug manufacturers is telling me about Alpha Crete, Lex5, financial data sets. Oil and gas midstream is telling me energy data, CFTC, public reports, IMF port watch. So there's quite a few here that we can grab, right? So if I actually go into the apps, you'll be able to see that I actually have these already connected. So you can see here they have the ticker. So the BLS is already available here, which means that you can query like all of these data by default. IMF port watch as well, maritime shock points. We also have CalSheet there. But let's say that I wanted to do the energy data. All I need to do, I look for energy data. I click on it. I can see what type of data I have. I can hover on top of the widgets to see what this gives me. And I say connect app. Agree and connect. and all I need to do is open the application. Now I can continue the chat conversation that I was having here, and so I'm gonna say analyze the EA energy data based on portfolio 1 and how it could be impacted. Yes, this is okay by now. Okay, here we go. We have the output. We also have the citations of what data was used in order to produce this outcome. Now, let's say that we want to go back to the initial portfolio. Let's say that I want to add a new tab, and maybe I'll say here research report. I'm going to add a research report. Actually have a file that I want to drop here. Is going to be added, is now added here, and I'm going to say, let me add this to the dashboard. What about the information from this capital market outlook report? Anything we should take into consideration? Okay, so as we can see, it also analyzed information from this sell-side research report. Now, imagine that I actually had created a skill, which I have, to create an HTML report based on this information. Let's say that we want to add it here. So let's say I have generative UI turned on. So I'm going to say, based on all this information, create an HTML report and add it to the dashboard using the skill, which you can tag. There we go. As you can see, that HTML report was added here. Is pointing at portfolio 1. This is the skill that I had created previously, where basically it tells me how I want the formatting. The portfolio 1 is most exposed to healthcare, energy infrastructure, packing utilities. Got the industry weights. I get the EIA energy signals, which was gotten from the data, and then I have the capital market outlook overlay, risk matrix, and actions. So all of these data was basically combined together, and that we have data that comes from Snowflake. We have data that comes from EIA, which comes from the apps marketplace. There could be others, and I also uploaded a research report. We could also have access to the web, but in this case, I didn't feel that there was the need. Now, let's say that I wanted to use MCP. So we also have a way to connect MCP, and in this case, I actually have connected the Google Workspace MCP. So let's say that we'll go back onto this dashboard, and I can say, can you let me connect the MCP? We can actually go on the full view, and here I'm going to connect all of the functions. Can you send an email from mailbot at openbb.finance to didier.lopsch@openbb.finance with a summary of the insights you got here. Use the Google Workspace MCP. And you can connect any MCP that you want. It's just, in this case, I just want to show that you can use it for actionables or also for data. It's entirely up to you to decide that. Okay, let's open. This is my email where I'm waiting for the. So let's refresh. There we go. We just received it now. It's 350, 350 as you can see. And as you can see, I get here the summary of the key insights, portfolio exposure, EIA energy implications. I get the capital market outlook and the main portfolio takeaway. Position useful balance of defensive healthcare, energy inflation, edge exposure, regulated utility income, and cyclical participation. The main monitoring framework should focus on energy inventories, electricity inflation, rate sensitivity, refinancing risk, and whether broader market participation continues to support non-mega cap and defensive sectors. Best OpenBB Copilot. And if I go here, you can see that the email was sent. We can actually see the underlying parameters that were used. And yep, you can see that he generated an artifact. This concludes a specific workflow that I wanted to show. And now I just want to show two more things, which are going to be super quick. So one of them is that, let's say that I want to open this application, which actually is data that comes from Databricks. So this now is running on Databricks rather than on Snowflake. Okay, and what I want to show you is that, let's say that I want to start a new chat with this one. But maybe I don't want to have MCP connected, and maybe I don't want to actually use this Copilot. I want to have another custom one. So you can actually integrate your own agents within the workspace based on the team that is utilizing it. And in this case, I'm actually using a model that is running locally. So this model is actually running on my machine. So there's no data leaving my computer right now. It's connected with the workspace. And so with the workspace, you can deploy it in your own environment. And so I could ask, what is the total trips using New York taxi metrics? There you go. Now using the Olama GPT OSS 20B. And finally, I want to show that we can close this. And I want to show that you can also use codecs to drive the work that gets done. So you can see here that I have the workspace MCP connected here. And so I'm going to ask it what dashboard can you see on OpenBB using workspace MCP. He's trying to use the in-app browser. Use the OpenBB Workspace MCP, please. There you go. He's using that one. Perfect. So you can see that it is actually able to analyze the data. So you can use codecs, you can use Cloud Code, and you can even use it to build applications. Or let's do something simple. Add Markdown Note widget to this dashboard, saying hello Didier. There we go. As you can see, it has been added here, and you could have it analyzing the workspace if it is utilizing running on a folder internally where you have like your risk models. You can combine the data that is available within the workspace with your internal data, but anything is possible. This concludes the demo. Thank you so much. Bye.